Let's talk about YouTube. Hey everybody, today I thought I'd try something a little bit different, which is kind of share my feelings on something that I've been thinking about for a while and that I recently took action on. Now, as many of you know, I went on hiatus for like 3 years, and part of the reason that I left was that I had some frustration. I had a problem. This was an internalized problem, admittedly. It wasn't anybody else's problem but mine. You know, when you're trying to work hard on a YouTube channel, which I did for a long time, trying to make it my way of earning money, I struggled. I had a hard time not only getting to that point of earning something more than just rent, which was actually pretty good. I got really frustrated when I would look around me and look at other YouTube channels that were in a similar niche as mine and just see them exploding. And that was really frustrating for me because I felt like, hey, I've put in my dues and I've worked all this time and I've done all this and put videos out a lot and done all these things, and it just wasn't paying the same dividends as other channels were. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody else's channel because I know these guys and gals, they put in a lot of hours making these channels good, or their production values are off the scale, something I've never really had, high production values. My channel's pretty blue collar, I admit that. When I was getting back into the YouTube game, I was watching a lot of videos, as one does, to kind of refresh myself on how I could be more successful. There's a lot of good advice out there, and some advice was to, hey, get these YouTube tools that will help you kind of deep dive into your analytics or present them in a more easier to digest manner than just using YouTube Studio. That way you can look at what's going on in your channel and you can make adjustments. Good analytical tools, there's nothing wrong with those. However, there was something about these tools that I found I didn't like, and that was how they would instantly compare you to other channels. Now, this was something I already had a problem with when I would look at other people's views or look at their subscribers and think like, wow, they're really doing really well. And I'm not, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. However, when you use some of these tools, like TubeBuddy, for example, the second you go onto somebody else's homepage on YouTube, this tool will immediately compare you to them. And it's kind of demoralizing to watch this graph form, knowing that their channel is already better than yours, or even if they're close or whatever. The point is that it specifically zeroes in on competition, on how you are doing versus another person, basically, or another channel, another group of people, who knows, whatever. And sometimes it's a ridiculous comparison, obviously. When you go to some huge channel that is, you know, they're doing super well, your graph just becomes a flat line on the bottom of the screen. And it took me a while to figure out what the problem was or why this was getting worse, because initially I would just see views and subscribers of other channels, but now I'm getting all sorts of other information, or at least information presented to me in a you versus them format, something that I think was pretty unhealthy for me. So what I did, which is kind of going against conventional YouTube wisdom, is I deleted all of my apps. I deleted TubeBuddy, I deleted Morning Fame, I stopped going to Social Blade, which, by the way, Social Blade, however useful it can be, is again a big comparison site. It ranks you by a letter grade, it ranks you with a number, see how you're doing against everybody else, and you can, you know, compare yourself to other channels as far as how much money you're earning or range of money and things like that. I discovered that once I got rid of this stuff, I felt a lot better. I'm not necessarily looking at all these specifics on how well I'm not doing. Conversely, you know, if I were to go to a channel that it wasn't doing as well as I was, I didn't need to see that either. I didn't need to get these fake superiority feelings about, oh, well, look how well I'm doing because this person's not doing as well as I am. So as a result, I ended up getting rid of this stuff, which in some ways, you know, gave me, hey, now I have a little extra income I can roll back into the channel. That's nice because TubeBuddy and Morning Fame were subscriber based. Really, the only tool you actually need is YouTube Studio. It's got all kinds of analytics that allow you to compare you to yourself. I really like the phone app because I can always check to see how my videos are doing, or I can see how they're doing against previous months or time periods, which is really, really good. In fact, that's kind of the whole point of this video, is that I've discovered that by putting me up against myself is how I make myself better. It's not putting me against some other person. That I don't think is a healthy attitude, and it wasn't a healthy attitude for me. So I'm curious about how you feel about this topic. Do you think that these apps are good for you as a YouTube creator, or do they foster this kind of negative competition that I was feeling? Please comment below, and thanks for watching.